Bear down, Chicago Bears. What's going on, everybody? Bears latest, Fan Art Sports. I'm Dan Levy, and we are going towards the week one of the 2025 NFL season, Chicago Bears. And we are still living and loving the fact that the Bears did pull off a win against the Kansas City Chiefs. We got the good, we got the bad, we got the ugly. But first, we got the facts that we need to give to you right now. Green Bay Packers suck. All right, now that we got that out of the way. Bear down, everybody. Thanks for jumping on with me. Again, thanks for everybody liking, subscribing, and the comment section. Keep it coming. It is lively. It is fun. Let's keep that coming. Anything you want me to discuss, any questions you got, anything you want to mention, hit me on the comments. I'm very active on there with you guys. I'm sure you've already seen it. I like to talk. I like to rack it up with you guys, and I love to hear what Bears thoughts are all the time. I love when everybody plays general manager and head coach. I want to know what your thoughts are, your strategies are. I use this channel for everybody to get their Bears thoughts out. Now that we get that in, let's give one last chat to what happened against the Kansas City Chiefs. 29-27 on Friday night when the Bears beat the Chiefs, their last and final preseason game of this season, 29-27. The game first half did not look so good. The game actually was a little bit rough, but at the end of the game, Tyson Bagent came into the clutch, hit the 6-yard touchdown to Jahadi Walker with 3 seconds left, and the sideline erupted, but Coach Ben Johnson was not celebrating, and neither were any Bears fans. First, let's hear from BJ as he gave his thoughts about the game post-game, 29-27 against the Kansas City Chiefs.
Nice to come away with the win there in that game.
True.
I thought a number of guys played their tails off, particularly there in the second half. Was not the start we wanted from our ones on really offense, defense, or special teams. It was a little bit disappointing to see how slow we started. Defensively, we didn't feel like we controlled the line of scrimmage very well.
Agreed.
We gave up some explosive plays. We had some costly penalties, and we couldn't stop them when they got down there in the red zone. So that wasn't good on that side. Offensively, first two possessions was really sloppy football that has plugged us in and out of camp so far, and unfortunately that's what we got here tonight. There was a number of things that we could have done a better job of. I felt Swifty come to life a little bit. I thought he was going to give us a spark. And then finally we were able to get a field goal, and then the 2-minute right before half, that was a good thing to see. We hadn't really had much success before halftime in the 2-minute drill, so was pleased to see that.
All right, so let's break this down just a little bit for you. Number one, it was good to see DeAndre Swift out there and become an option for Caleb Williams. We had not seen DeAndre Swift this entire preseason. We did not see much of him as we needed to see what he could do, especially in those joint practices either. We did not see a lot from him, but we finally got to see him. Is he the running back that he was last season? He looks better. For me, he looked better. Did he look like he was leaps and bounds better? No, but he definitely looked like somebody that understands this offense. I love the fact that he jumped over somebody. That's always a cool thing to see, and good to see that he still has that kind of ability to do those kinds of things and be that creative on the field. Here's what the thing that I was talking about as we led up to Friday's game. This was the first chance we got as Bears fans and as the Bears and football public can look on. What is this team? Who is this team? Are they a good team? We're not sure. Are they a bad team? I don't think they are. Here's what we do know. They got tested in a way that they've never been tested since they started this preseason, since the implementation of a new head coach, a new offense, and an all-new offensive line. They played, instead of just the Miami Dolphins, who the Bears should have beaten finally, instead of playing the second and third stringers of the Buffalo Bills, they got the real test. They played a team like the Kansas City Chiefs, and the starters versus starters, and the Bears did not look good. I'll say it again. They did not look good, but that's not bad. It's not a bad thing. You put 28 other teams against the Chiefs starters, and the same thing would happen. The Bears are not Super Bowl ready yet. Will they ever be? I have no clue. But they are not as bad as they were last season. They still have a lot of things to learn, but there were still some good things out there. Again, Caleb wasn't making the same mistakes. There were some things that were going on. There were some dumb pre-snap penalties, but that's football. That's the preseason. That's what's going on. But when it came time for what this defense is, yes, at Dennis Allen, I do trust. But in Kansas City Chiefs, I do acknowledge and I do give props that is what a football team is supposed to look like. I said it before, if you're going to watch that game and you're going to watch it with critiquing and critical eyes and focusing on what that was, everything you saw the Chiefs do is what 95% of what NFL teams are not doing, because their opening drives were smooth. Patrick Mahomes was relaxed. He knew how to get everybody functioning. He knew which guys to give it to. The pace was fast, and yet it was slowed down enough for Patrick Mahomes to make the right plays at the right time. And that defense was just smothering. They smothered the Bears. They got in the way, and that offensive line was tested. Caleb did well. The Bears did well. It just looked sloppy. It looks sloppy, and there's nothing you can do about that. That's just football. That's growing pains. And again, this is just preseason. In a regular game where guys are really playing and adjustments are being made and things are happening in the game, who knows what could have really happened. The Bears could have gotten blown out. They could have been absolutely smoked. Or it could have been what it could have been. People are still high on Tyson Bagent. I love seeing Tyson come in that second half, and I loved watching the 2-minute drill at the end, and I loved watching him march our way to a Bears victory. But again, against second and third stringer guys, that's what the Bears did against the Bills. That was the blowout. That's what happened. So if you would have put the Chiefs second and third guys out there against Bears starters, I'm pretty sure we would have saw the exact same thing happening if Caleb was still underneath there. But it wasn't. It was a true test. It's not the game that they wanted to start. It's not the way they wanted to be. Chicago's first unit offense sputtered out of the gate. Opening drive was derailed by a false start from Colston Loveland. Again, teachable moments. It's his third preseason football game. He hasn't even played a real game yet. These are still the things that are haunting Bears that we need to see getting cinched up, especially Monday night when they play their opening game. Make that 2 weeks from today. Drew Dahlman snapped into a fumble with Caleb Williams. The ball handling, that was fumbled. That was a stupid play. But again, these are all things that are going to get worked out and smooth over. The Kansas City Chiefs, again, just looked better. When they were trailing at the end of the first quarter, 17-0, have been outgained 197 to 29 yards. Mahomes and the Chiefs, it just moved at will. The Bears could not do much against that. Put Tyson Bagent out there, no one's moving. It's not that way. So everything that Johnson said, again, things need to get hurried up. Things need to get moved. But things that are going to start to happen as of right now are Bears making roster cuts. Because, again, now that we have 2 weeks to go until the actual game itself, guess what? Cuts need to be made. We need to get this roster slimmed down to 53. And the Bears have already started doing that at Hallis Hall. Just a couple of hours ago, the Bears announced the following players have been placed on waivers. Linebacker Swayze Bozeman. We have offensive lineman Chris Glazer. Tight end Thomas Gordon. Defensive back Mark Perry. We had wide receiver Samari Tor. And defensive back Jeremiah Walker. None of these cuts are a major surprise, but a few may resurface on the practice squad. But based on preseason play, it's unlikely they'll make any kind of an immediate impact. Injured reserve, quarterback, we saw this one. Terrell Smith was placed on the injured reserve after suffering a season injury in preseason 2. Smith entered camp competing for the starting role opposite Jalen Johnson, but the setback ends his 2025 campaign. The Bears are hopeful that he returns next year for what will be his 4th year with the team, so we'll see. So those are the cuts that have already been made. No major surprises as of yet. Look for the major ones coming because there are some people on this team that are likely to stay for week 1. Obviously, the quarterback room is good to go. That one is good to go. But final cuts are due on Tuesday at 4 p.m. Eastern time, and they're going to get that going. So as it's going to shape up, look for everybody in that quarterback room to stay. I would be surprised if anything happened to Case Keenum. But Tyson Bagent already secured that number 2 spot when they gave him the $10 million extension just before week 3 preseason game. Running backs DeAndre Swift, Roschon Johnson, Travis Homer, and Kyle Monangai. That's the running back room. I would be surprised if Kyle Monangai left. They were pretty impressed by him. And plus, Roschon Johnson not being all that healthy right now, I'd be shocked. DeAndre Swift looked good. He looked good. Did he look amazing? No. Nobody looked amazing from a Bears standpoint. Even if you're going to count the Tyson Bagent, that last part, if you're going to count that as amazing, then you're not watching the same game I was. But what happens with Kyle Monangai, I'm not really sure. Again, it's not uncommon that a seventh-round draft pick gets clipped here of this when they start to get it down to the 53-man roster. But Johnson believes that the seventh rounder is reliable. He, quote, said, "I think he's a guy we're going to be able to trust this fall." So that to me means that he's going to stay. But I've heard coaches say other things, and then we see things go a different way. In the wide receivers room, you got DJ Moore, you got Rome Odunze, you got Zacchaeus, who looked good and looked like a guy that Caleb Williams definitely trusts. He was thrown to that guy, and that guy was making plays. Luther Burden III, I'm loving him. I'm loving Luther Burden III, not just for the routes that he runs, but the blocking that he's doing, the physicality of Luther Burden III. That is something I did not expect to see as good and as developed as we're seeing right now. Devin Duvernay, Jahadi Walker. Well, again, Jahadi Walker is on that bubble as well. Those guys are all on that bubble. So we'll see what happens. But in that case of who's going to last in this running back room, well, I think Johnny Walker beat out Maurice Alexander with his late game heroics against the Kansas City Chiefs, and he may have clipped that final spot. Tight ends that are still going to be hanging out with us, Cole Kmet, Colston Loveland, you are in. Loveland has already built a strong chemistry with Caleb. Both show their potential in the Bears' explosive preseason touchdown drive against the Bills. And those two getting to know each other and those two getting together, I'm liking. Offensive line, Braxton Jones, Joe Tooney, Drew Dahlman, Jonah Jackson, Darnell Wright, Ozzie Trapillo, Theo Benedict, Ryan Bates, Luke Newman. Those are the guys that are going to be lining up to snap. They have not made an announcement yet in this left tackle position, but it's got to be Braxton Jones. At least that's who they're going to go with for now. Rookies Bennett and Trapillo give the Bears insurance. Newman's versatility at guard helped him win a spot, while injuries pushed Bill Murray and Doug Kramer toward the practice squad. Bill Murray, I like him Caddyshack. But if that's how it's going to go and that's where we're going to suit up, I love seeing Ozzie Trapillo still out there, and I really love him being there as well. Defensive line looks pretty suited up. Montez Sweat, Grady Jarrett, Gavon Dexter Sr., Dayo Odengbo, Andrew Billings, Austin Booker, and a few others, including Shamar Turner, Dominique Robinson, and Chris Williams. That interior strength defines this group, with Jarrett, Dexter, and Billings rotating. Turner missing time with an injury, but should factor in soon. And on the edge, Sweat and Odengbo, those are the two that we love to see. And Austin Booker, if he could stay healthy, I love what he's doing on the defensive side of the ball. I love the pressure, and I love watching him on a blitz, and I love watching him put his pedal to the metal. That is a guy that I'm going to keep watching. Linebackers are looking strong, and the cornerbacks, well, we got Jalen Johnson, Kyler Gordon, Tyreek Stevenson, Deshaun Wright, Josh Blackwell, and Nick McLeod. Injuries have definitely hurt this squad. I don't have a lot of faith in that corner except for Kyler and Jalen Johnson, but Jalen being hurt, they say he should be good to go for week 1, and Gordon recently from a hamstring setback. The depth remains shaky. Sean Wade, Terrell Smith lost for the year, and rookie Zah Frazier looks bound for the practice squad. So there's a lot of things that need to be fixed up when it comes to that side of the ball. And again, the one nice thing about when you start to trim these guys to 53, there are people on the waiver wire that are about to be picked up. And this is what I was saying to you before. This is where general manager Ryan Poles makes his money. If he can find out who the right guys are who are getting released and can do some things that'll make this team that much better, that much more secure, I think that's what we're all going to be doing with that. So for me, that's how this is going to all work out, and that's how it's all going to come down for this final and last play. Then as we make our way over towards what's happening with the Bears and the Chiefs and week 1, we want to say thank you for all of that. The Bears and Chiefs, that was a great game. One more time, final thought. Game did not go exactly as planned. Glad we saw a win, but we're not sure. As we move along and we make our way now over towards what is going to be at week 1 and some final cuts, there's going to be a lot of things coming along, a lot of rumors, There's going to be a lot of talk of news and trades. This offseason is far from over. Preseason games might be done, but what this team is going to look like starting from today until Monday the 8th when they have their Monday Night Football debut is going to be a totally different thing when they play against the Minnesota Vikings. That's going to do it for me for today. This is Bears Latest. Fan Art Sports, I'm Dan Levy. The Green Bay Packers suck. Bear down. It's going to be a long season. Let's not be so quick to knee-jerk reaction with everything that's going on. Let's not be too fast to judge what's happening. This is not the same team. This is not coached by the same level of coaches, and this is a different time in Bears history. Let's enjoy it. Let's savor every moment. Good or bad, we are here for it. And again, thank you so much for joining me. Bears Latest, Fan Art Sports, I'm Dan Levy. Follow me on the socials, Bass on Air, BASS on Air. We'll do it again tomorrow. Talk to you guys soon. Later. Thank you. Packers suck. Enjoy your day.